back to my channel. Happy Wednesday to all of you guys. So today's video is a tag video that I was tagged in by one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube. Her name is GINA. Her channel name is GINA Pearson. I'll leave the link to her video and her channel down below. But today we are doing the 30 random facts about Taylor tag. I thought it was perfectly appropriate and so much fun, and I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I've gotten a lot of subscribers the last time I did one of these, so thought it was, kind of time. So let's go ahead and jump in. And I do have my handy dandy coffee, so it could be a chatty video. So number one, I am 24 years old. I'll be 25 July 23rd. So woohoo! Quarter life crisis. Coming for ya. Coming for you. Number two, my birthday actually starts the day of Leo season. So I have a little bit of like Cancer qualities, but mostly Leo qualities. And like when a lot of people hear I'm a Leo, they're like, yeah, you're a Leo. I'm not like huge into the astrological signs or anything like that, but I do fit all the qualities of a Leo. So I think it's kind of ironic that I'm a Leo and my birthday starts Leo season. It makes me feel like, empowered and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Number three, the first time I had an IV was actually last Friday. So I went 24 years without ever having an IV, and I finally broke my record. I was so disheartened about it. I think I may have had one when I was younger and I had a surgery, but I was so young I didn't really realize it. But this has been my first one as an adult. Like, I actually knew what was going on and what was happening, and let me tell you, it was just as freaky as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it didn't hurt. I'm like a little bruised, you can see. It didn't hurt really that bad, but it was just weird. So that was like my first IV, or maybe like my second one. It's my first adult IV, so doing pretty good in life. Number four, when I was little, I used to play with my sisters. I have two older sisters. They're a lot older than me. They're like a 13 and 14 year age difference, so they're quite a bit older than me. And we were playing one day and we were jumping on the bed, and for some reason it had a Q-tip and it got stuck in between the front gap of my teeth. I used to have a huge gap growing up, and I had to go to the emergency room and get it removed. So moral of the story, kids, don't jump on the bed. Just, you shouldn't. You can bump your head, you can get a Q-tip stuck in your teeth. It's not a fun thing for anybody. Trust me. Number five, if you are an OG subscriber to my channel, then you will probably already know, but I actually went to nursing school. I got into two separate nursing schools. I never completed either one of them. I actually never even completed and got my bachelor's degree, but that's a little known fact about me. I still love everything about nursing, and really the science behind it is my favorite thing. I love studying sciences and just like human anatomy, physiology, like that stuff is so much fun for me. But as far as like the physical aspect of nursing, just wasn't for me. I honestly only wanted to be a nurse so that I could be a professor one day, because I love teaching and I love the science of nursing, and so I thought it'd be perfect. But you actually have to practice nursing to be a professor in it, unfortunately, so that dream went down the pipe. Number six, fall is my absolute favorite season, you guys. Like when the leaves change, like I'm gonna paint you a picture like over here as I'm looking up to the sky. So when the leaves change, I become a completely different person. Like I'm just so joyful and happy, and like I feel like energized. It's something about the fall. And then once Thanksgiving hits, I'm like a downhill spiral of depression. It happens every single year, but from like September to October, I'm like the happiest girl alive. Love it so much. And when the leaves start to change, I get so excited. So fall is my favorite season. Number seven, my two favorite colors are yellow and blue. I love them combined together. I love them separately. Blue has always been my favorite color, and then right around the time I turned into a teenager, I started to really love yellow and blue are just my favorites. I love them together, and yeah, it's my favorite colors. Number eight, also if you're an OG subscriber, then you will also know all about my Savannah Chronicles. So when I was 22, I literally put in my 2 weeks at my job, got another job in Savannah, Georgia, which is like 6 hours away from my hometown, and moved that very week. Like I got the job, I moved like 2 days later. Like I told my friends and family like at a dinner, and then I was gone. And I lived there for about 8 or 9 months, and then I moved back home. But yeah, I just up and moved when I was 22. I was just like, I'm done with this city. I want to move, and that's exactly what I did. So, spontaneous Taylor. Also, I just randomly put out my resume sometimes just to see if I can get a job. And so, this past February, I put my resume out, and I got a job in Atlanta too. So, you know, you never know what could happen with me. I could be moving somewhere in like a week's time. It's just the way I roll. Number 9. I originally started my YouTube channel to deal with the stress of my job and also deal with my loneliness. So I recently moved out of living with my best friend Kelly of Kelly's Bookspill. I've mentioned her channel before. And so I was super lonely. It was the first time living on my own, and so I just randomly popped up my iPad one day and started making videos. I have been surrounded by it. May made it. She's a really close family friend of mine, and so she has a really big YouTube channel, and she had started filming and like trying to get us to start our channels up. And then Kelly also had gotten quite a big following. I think around that time she's got like 500 or 600 subscribers, maybe even 1,000. And so I just randomly started doing it to kind of cope with being by myself on my own for the first time, and also just like the stress of my job. It was super stressful, and so I just started a beauty channel out of the blue, popped it up one day and started posting videos. That's the best way to start a YouTube channel, just in case you ever wanted to know. Number 10, I have worked for 6 companies at 4 properties in a span of 6 years in my career. Come August, it'll be 6 years. So I've worked for a lot of different companies. Not so much that I've jumped around, it's more so that the properties have sold or owners have changed hands or something like that. So I'm not just a jumper when it comes to careers, it's more so the properties have sold or something like that. But 6 companies, 6 years. I think I've worked for like 10 managers in 6 years. It's insane. But yes, it's been a crazy ride. Number 11. I think I'm going to get a little bit of hate for this one, but I just feel like you guys need to know this. I have never watched Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that. I'm sorry to offend all of you that have. I know it should be a rite of passage or something like that, but I'm really okay to not have that rite of passage. I'm really okay about that. But I've never watched either of those. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but I've never watched Star Wars, never watched Star Trek. I've never watched a lot of different movie series. I've never been a big movie buff until like my later years. But yeah, never watched Star Wars or Star Trek. I'm sorry. I don't really want to watch them either. I'm really okay. So don't tell me I need to in the comments. Thank you. So number 12 is I have a huge obsession with Big Bang Theory, which is kind of ironic because I just said I never watched Star Wars and Star Trek. And if you've watched Big Bang Theory, then you know that they are obsessed with Star Wars and Star Trek. So that's kind of ironic how that happened. But I was obsessed, like hardcore obsessed with Sheldon, Leonard, and Penny from the ages of 17 and 20. So like right after the show officially aired, I was like 16, 17, and I became engrossed in this television show. Like I was obsessed with it. I watched every new episode. I had posters. Like I was obsessed. I have a Bazinga t-shirt. I have a soft kitty pillow still on my bed. Like hardcore obsessed with this show. And now I just watch reruns. I could literally quote back all of the earlier seasons to you because I've watched them that many times. When I was like 19 and 20, a lot of my friends would come over to my house all the time and they would just see it or hear it in the background because that's what we always watch. Like I always watch that. So I'm super obsessed with them still. I just got back into it recently because I'd finished Gilmore Girls and I'd finished Friends again. I was like, let me just watch Big Bang Theory through again. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm only up to season 8, so don't spoil anything because I don't have season 9 yet on DVD. But yeah, huge Big Bang Theory fan. Number 13, something a lot of people don't know about me is that I used to be extremely involved in my children's ministry program at my church. I was kind of like the assistant to the director of children's ministry. I led worship every single Sunday. I also taught Sunday school for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and I also taught on Sunday mornings some too. So I was extremely involved in the children's program at my church. That was back, I was like 18 to 20, I would say, 18 to 20, 21. I was super involved in that, and then I did get out of it, but I loved it. I love children. Children have always been a passion of mine. I almost taught, like went to school for teaching because I love children so much, but yeah, I used to be super involved in my children's ministry. Number 14, a lot of you know that I am obsessed with red lipstick. I got off wearing lipstick for a while there, but I'm starting to get back into it. But I have a ton of red lipsticks, and my obsession with the color red all stems from my first property, and it stems from the MAC lipstick Ruby Woo. My best friend Jamal actually bought that for me as my first high-end lipstick that I ever owned. It was my first MAC lipstick, and he bought it for me because one of his friends said it was the perfect red, and it was the perfect red. I love a good blue toned red color. It looks really good on my skin tone, and that color is still one of my favorites to this day. But that started the obsession of the red lipstick because I loved how it looked with my pale skin, and ever since then I've been hooked on them. And I've also been hooked on like the purpley violet colors, like pink but also little purple tinges. I'm like really into those too, and mauves. Like those are my 3 favorite colors, but red will always be my first love, and it's all because of Ruby Woo. Number 15, so I am a Chi Omega. I'm a part of the Greek system, and I am a Chi Omega, and I still have a ton of owls all throughout my apartment. Most of them are not just like creepy owls, they're actually mostly useful. Like I have a couple of vases still around my apartment, a couple of that are like lanterns that I've kind of turned into some other different things. I don't necessarily buy them anymore, but they're just left over, and I kind of got rid of some of them and kept the ones that I really, really liked. But I still have a ton of owls in my living room. Like if you were to count around the living room, there's probably at least 10 to 15 just in my living room. So I still have quite the obsession with owls. Number 16, I actually never planned to work in property management, and actually a lot of people don't plan to work in property management. I got in the business because the pastor at my church at the time was also the president of a management company, and like I said, I used to lead the children's ministry at church, and so he knew I had the great personality for it, and I was a people person, and so he trained me, and it was magic. I love my job, I love what I do, and you know, it is what it is. But I never planned on being in property management. I actually planned on, like I said, being a professor of nursing or being a nurse practitioner. I never in a million years thought I would be behind a desk or talking and selling. I never considered myself a person that sells stuff, but I love my job. And yeah, I literally quit nursing school one day and started property management like the next week, so I moved fast, okay? Number 17, I've already mentioned one of the shows that I always watch on replay, but if you're at my house at any given time, I do not have cable, fun fact, so I usually watch reruns on Netflix, and my 2 favorite reruns recently have been Gilmore Girls and Friends, and then lately I've been also watching Big Bang Theory, but I went through Gilmore Girls and Friends like at least 4 or 5 times over. It just plays in the background when I'm cleaning my dishes or I'm vacuuming or cleaning the house. I'm not always like actively watching it, it's just always in the background. So I've watched it over and over and over again. Number 18, I actually collect coffee cups. I'm a huge coffee cup collector. I love going to TJ Maxx. I love going to Ross and collecting coffee cups, and I'm also recently really into the Starbucks cups. It's like the You Are Here collection, and every single state has a different coffee cup in Starbucks, and so I've been collecting those. Whenever my friends go traveling somewhere, I always ask them to bring a coffee cup home to me because those are so much fun, and it's like collecting the quarters, because I remember those were really big like in 2000, 2002. But now we're collecting coffee cups, and it's like every state. Like I have a coffee cup from Hawaii where my friend went to Hawaii. I've never been there personally, but she got me a coffee cup from there, and that's just super cool to me. So I love collecting coffee cups, especially the Starbucks You Are Here collection. Number 19, I used to be super self-conscious about my curves. In fact, I hit puberty obviously because I got, you know, breasts and stuff like that, but I never really actually got my body shape until I was like 19 or 20 is really when I started to define my curves. And it wasn't until I was about 22 that I actually fell in love with my curves. That's one of my favorite features about myself. I love my thick booty. I love my thick thighs. They say live, y'all, just so you know. But I originally used to hate my curves. I used to hate being a bigger girl, and now I wouldn't trade it for the world. It is one of my favorite things about me, and I love it. Guys love it. I love it. My friends all call me the thick girl. You know, it is what it is. Number 20, when I was younger, I used to take ice skating lessons. yeah, ice skating lessons. We have an ice skating ring at the mall near where I lived, and I used to take ice skating lessons. I used to be up there every Saturday morning at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and I used to do ice skating. I could do like the little twirl. I can semi-do one in the air, but I could definitely do the little twirl on the ground. And I think I stopped because of an ankle injury. I'm not really sure why I stopped, actually. But I had a lot of fun doing it. But I do have very weak ankles, so any activity like rollerblading or ice skating or anything like that always makes my ankles hurt really bad. I have one of my ankles that I've like hurt repeatedly over and over again. Like, it's never actually broken, but it's definitely weakened because I've sprained it so many times. So I have to be careful now whenever I do certain activities, but I used to be an ice skater. Fun fact. Number 21, I kind of mentioned this earlier in the video, but the only surgery that I've ever had was to put tubes in my ears. I used to have horrible, horrible ear infections when I was younger. I like have flashbacks of being in the bathtub, because when you have ear infections when you're little, you have fever spikes and stuff like that, so you put them in a bath, you put, you do all this stuff. So I used to have really, really bad ear infections, and so I got tubes put in my ears, and I got my adenoids removed in the same surgery. They still talk about this day they should remove my tonsils as well, which I don't understand why, because I don't really get strep throat. My lymph nodes get super swollen, and usually my lymph nodes get infected more so than my tonsils do, but I've never had strep or anything like that, so there's that. So yeah, that's the only surgery I have ever had in 24 years. Pretty proud of myself. Pretty proud of myself. Number 22, most of you already know this, but my cat Zazzles, if you have not met him, you should check out my Instagram. There's pictures of him, or Snapchat, because I post a lot of him too. Big Bang Theory, then you'll know why Zazzles' name is Zazzles. There is actually an episode of Big Bang Theory where he gets all these cats because he's depressed, and he names all of them like different scientist names, and then he names this one cat Zazzles because he's Zazzy. And Zazzles used to do some crazy stuff when he was a kitten, and he is definitely Zazzy, so that is where I got Zazzles from, and where his name came from too. Number 23, when I find a new hobby, I go like all in full force. All of my friends even say this about me, about anything in life. I'm either 0 to 60. Like, there is no in between, there is no moderate, there is no mild. I really don't even think those words are in my vocabulary. I'm either all in or I'm not in at all. And so I'm the same thing with hobbies. I'm either all into something or I'm not in it at all. Like, there is no half anything. It's all or nothing. That's just the way my personality is. That's the way my brain works. So whenever I get involved in a hobby, I'm like all in, gun-ho, spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, like going to obsess and obsess over it, change my whole life over it. Like, that's just how I am. And then I get bored and I move on to something else. But for that one little moment, it's so much fun. So that is how I am about hobbies. And because I am that way, number 24, I named my channel Tay's Life Unscripted because I know I'm like that about hobbies. And so I knew that eventually I probably wouldn't be a beauty channel anymore, and I would want to change my hobbies or change what my channel was about, or make it more just different things, because I have so many different things I like to do that are like calming and relaxing to me. And so I named it Tay's Life Unscripted so I can make it whatever I wanted to. That's why it's unscripted. That's why I did my blog the same way, because that way I could change it. So it's kind of funny. Number 25, most of you already know this about me, but I am a huge coffee addict, you guys. Like, massive coffee addict. This is cup 5 today. I've had 2 large coffees and like a coffee cup from here, and then I've had another coffee cup full from something else, and then this is another cup because I'm probably going to be up editing this video until like 1 in the morning. Well, editing and uploading until like 1 in the morning. So I am a huge coffee drinker. I usually have at least 3 before I even get to work in the morning. It's a problem. It really is. Sometimes I realize it's more obsessive than usual, and so I kind of knock myself back a little bit. And the best thing about me is I don't really get caffeine headaches. I do if I like cut myself way down like super fast, but for the most part it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't keep me up hardly any, and it's just, it gets me going in the morning, and it's like my little routine. So yep, I am a coffee addict. Number 26, I am a big proponent of online dating. I've actually met 3 guys that I have dated or seriously went on dates with, or whatever you want to call it, from online dating. And I'm really big into online dating, preferably because I work, I go to the gym, or I'm on YouTube. So unless I'm doing one of those three things, I'm not really going to meet any men. And most of the guys I meet at my property, I can't really date because they're residents or vendors. So the only chance I really get to meet any new people is online. And so I have dated a lot of online guys. I did like a video a couple of years ago talking about the things you need to avoid with online dating, and I would love to kind of update that. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, let me know. But I am a proponent of online dating because I am too busy to like go to bars. I'm not a big bar girl anyway. That's just not my scene. So yeah, online dating, that's what I do. Number 27, you probably already know this, but I have a huge obsession with men's cologne and men's cologne candles. Like, if a man smells good, I will straight up tell him, you smell great today. Like, I'm not afraid to do that. I'm not like too shy to do that. I'm like, you smell good. What is that cologne? Because I always want to know what cologne it is, because if it smells really good, I'm like, whenever I get a boyfriend or a husband, I need him to own this cologne because it smells that good. So I always ask them, I always compliment how well they smell. And then another thing that I always do is I always have male smelling candles in my apartment. So right now I have like 3 mahogany teak woods, 1, 2, 3, yeah. 3 mahogany teak woods in my house, and black tie from Bath & Body Works was another one of my die-hard favorites. I love that one so much. So whenever I find male smelling cologne candles, it's like a lot of words together, I always buy them because I'm seriously obsessed, you guys. Like, I love them so much. Number 28, I am on my second Toyota. So I've had 3 cars in my lifetime, which is like really a small number, and I'm very blessed about that. So I had a Toyota Camry, and then I had a Chevrolet Malibu, and then this is a Toyota Corolla. I do plan on selling back my Toyota Corolla probably next year, depending finances and everything like that, because I do want an SUV. I really want an SUV. But right now, it gets me where I need to go, and I love Toyotas. Like, they're some of my favorite cars. So I'm on my 3rd car. Yeah, pretty proud. So number 29, I am very big into interracial dating. I love dating interracially. I prefer black males. It's kind of my preference. But I'm very big into interracial dating. I love when people date interracially. It's like the most beautiful thing in the world to me. Like, I'm a little like crazy obsessed with it. Like, whenever we see interracial couples out in public, I'm like, look, it's an interracial couple. Mind you, it's very rare because I live in Alabama, so before you just think I'm crazy, it's kind of one of those oddities that you don't really get in Alabama. So whenever I see it, I get super excited about that. Or an interracial child, I think is like the most beautiful thing that God has ever created. Like, it's like gorgeous. So I love interracial dating. I would love to have interracial family and have a little interracial child one day. So yeah, fun fact. And number 30 is one that I'm super excited for you guys. So if you stayed through the entire video, then you get the news first before I mention it on any other form of social media. On my last doctor's appointments, I got my labs back and my liver levels are back in the normal range, which means my diet and exercise and my very strict diet and exercise have made my liver levels go back down to normal. This doesn't mean I'm out of the woods. This just means that right now I am stable, and so I still can't drink alcohol, and I still have to work out at least 3 to 4 times a week, and I still need to eat very healthily for my diet plan. But I'm just glad to know that my liver levels are back in check. I'm still waiting on the test back for my gallbladder because I did have a lot of pain during that test. So I'm still waiting back for that. But if you stay to the end of this video, then you'll get to know that. That is my fact number 30. I got diagnosed with liver disease, and my liver levels are back down to normal right now. So I'm super excited. Alright guys, so that is everything for today's video. If you enjoyed it, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys, oodles and noodles, and stay tuned for Friday's Fitness Friday video. We're going to be talking all about personal trainers and whether they are worth it or not. So stay tuned. Love you guys. Bye.